So for this week's episode, we are heading to West Virginia. We're going back to Hatfield McCoy, and we're gonna ride a new trail system there, Pocahontas. It's one that I've never been on. I've heard great things, I've read about it. So I wanted to bring somebody who'd never been here before, who's watched the show and is an enthusiast and has similar sort of passions and hobbies that I do. And so my buddy Blaine from back home, I was like, this is the guy to bring down. He's always talking to me about the cool things we do on the show.
When AJ first asked me to go to Hatfield McCoy Trails, I had seen it on the show several times, as they've been here lots, and when it was just ecstatic. It was like, yeah, this is the trip of a lifetime. I can't turn this down. I have to get this figured out so I can go. And
we jumped in the truck. Blaine drives heavy equipment, so he drives big trucks and excavators and all kinds of stuff like that. So it was nice because I had somebody I could pass the wheel off to. He took over, for part of the drive. I grabbed some sleep in the back. It's about 15 hours from Ontario, including stops. For this trip, we were going to be staying at Buffalo Trail Properties, and when we showed up late at night, we really weren't sure what we were getting ourselves into. We wake up in the morning, and literally steps out of our door is a herd of 17 or 18 buffalo, just grazing on the field. The birds are chirping. I mean, we're right in the trees. There's, one of the accommodations we were staying in was an actual tree fort, fully equipped though. I mean, I'm talking a tree fort with a full, full bathroom, kitchenette, the whole bit. Everything is made out of pine. It's beautiful around here. This is some of the nicest accommodations I have ever stayed in.
It's like a dream come true. To stay in a place like this is just top shelf. Everything is set up right from free ice machine to gift baskets on the tables when we arrived. Everything was set up. The accommodations, the hospitality here at Buffalo Trail is just absolutely awesome.
After we sort of experienced the area that we're staying here at Buffalo Trail, we jumped in the truck and headed to the trailhead. We were going to be meeting Chris and Derek there from Hatfield McCoy. As we showed up, the guys were waiting for us right there. It was all good. We got unloaded real quick, geared up, and we headed out for what was going to be a really great day on the trails. What we were going to do is just go out and sort of take an easy first day. I wanted to break Blaine into this. I brought him a 1000cc Commander to drive, so I wanted to make sure that he just sort of got out and got comfortable with that.
The Pocahontas Trail system is perfect for families. You have the majority of the trail system consists of green and blue trails, which are our easiest trails. The Pocahontas Trail system also connects to the Indian Ridge system and the Pinnacle Creek system. So with all three of those trails connected, you have over 200 miles to ride.
The trail network at Hatfield McCoy Pocahontas Trails is unbelievable. If you're not going up, you're going down, and if you're not going to the left, you're going to the right. There's technical trails, there's good trails where you can open it up a little bit.
One of the things I really admire about this portion of West Virginia is the history that they have. I mean, coal mining is something that goes back for, decades. It's ingrained here. And the coolest part, in my opinion, about it is when you're out on a trail system like Pocahontas and you find something like a coke oven. I mean, we're not just a little bit off the beaten path. We are way the heck out in the forest. And there's this handmade coke oven. You could get in there, you could probably put 4 or 5 full-size adults and lay down in this thing. And somebody made this 75, 100 years ago to refine coal out in the forest. Just kind of stuff back home we just don't have, We don't have like that kind of history out in the trees back home. You don't go find anything, It's like it's very, very, very rare. Later on in the day, after we'd sort of broken ourselves in and got a feel for the trails, we found this one called trail number 16 that's in the northeastern sector of Pocahontas. And it's wide. We would call it a fire road back home. It's probably 16 feet wide, groomed perfectly smooth, really nice S-bends and chicanes. I mean, you can pick up the pace, you can get a little tire spin and slippage and have some fun. There's some cool creek crossings that, you know, are just little tiny ones, but they give you a splash of water and cool you down. We had a great time. It was, for a first day and for a first experience for Blaine, I think we hit the nail right on the head.
Absolutely was a great time. The trail system is unbelievable. You barely know where you're going to come out at the next intersection.
We had a great time. Blaine had a smile that was literally ear to ear. I mean, I think he was probably laughing like a schoolgirl inside of his helmet on some of those corners and some of the stuff that we were doing. You could see the dirt and dust on his face. I mean, we ended off, we were dirty, we were tired, we were ready for day number 2. So for day 2, we had a very similar day to day 1 on the trails planned, but a few other things that we were going to do. We headed out and went into actually the town of Bramwell, and what we wanted to do was experience a little bit of the history here.
The town of Bramwell is unique because it had millionaires that lived in the town at the turn of the century. And these millionaires, they were bankers, they were coal miner operators, and they lived a very lavish lifestyle. So they built homes to reflect that. The mines were located around the town of Bramwell, and those homes still stand today. And they're just a nice remembrance of the coal mining era. And it's just how a small town became famous because of coal mining.
It's something that if you're in this area, you can't overlook. You got to go in, you got to do a tour. They do town tours. Lady who came out who was so nice, she's dressed in full Victorian style dress, who does tours of the towns. They do them a couple times a year. But if you're coming out with the family, go and do one of those tours and teach your kids about the history of this area and teach them how hard those coal miners worked back in the day. It's pretty cool, you know? We don't get history like this back home, not to the same degree. It's neat just to see the way things were and the fact that this town has been, you know, maintained and the history is still captured here. Second day of riding, we were going to ride the exact same trail system because Pocahontas has so much to offer. And one of the interesting things was Jamie from Visit Mercer County hadn't been out on the trails yet, and so we sort of felt honored that we got to give her a first-time experience out on the trails, and that was pretty cool.
I think the ATV industry for Southern West Virginia is valuable. It brings in revenue that other resources haven't done in several years, and it's given people new opportunities to create businesses. In Southern West Virginia, you can find breweries, you can find diners, you can find campgrounds, you can find lodging and resorts that weren't here, you know, maybe a decade ago. So the ATV industry, you know, has brought new enterprise, and I think that's important to our state. It was an awesome experience. It's hard to put into words, but you know, the rush you get riding these mountains it's like I said, it's hard. It leaves you speechless. To be that far in the woods and to see the trees towering over you, you're really in, you know, God's country. And it's just amazing to see everything up close and personal. I mean, when you're driving through, you know, you see the mountains, but when you're riding an ATV, you're in the mountains. And like the rush of adrenaline you get, it's just, I just wanted to go fast.
You know, if you're a first-timer, never been out, you just want to try it out, there's lots of trails that are just like a fire access road, basically a side road. Then right into technical trails where you're almost rock crawling. It's so versatile, there's so much to do. You can just have a really good time.
It really gives you a great first-time experience, both for Blaine and Jamie being out there, and we all had a blast together. Day 2 was great. We found, you know, this neat little kind of hole-in-the-wall rock during the middle of the day that we jumped out and went and visited and just sort of looked at. And I mean, it didn't really have any significance to the area, I don't think, but it was just sort of fun because it's something off the side of the trail, a little place you can stop and, you know, grab a bottle of water or a snack.
If anybody asked me about coming down to Pocahontas or the Hatfield McCoy Trails, I would say do it. Having rode at home, it's a different riding, but it was so much fun. You just unload and ride for the day, and I don't know if you'd ever have to hit the same trail twice.
So when we're here in West Virginia, we're always taken care of so well. And Chris and Derek and Jamie from Mercer County, I mean, these folks, they always take care of us. We broke another person into the off-road world, and I think all in all, our trip here, our experience, the smile that Blaine had on his face, the hospitality and the welcoming of Chris and Derek and Jamie and the folks here at Buffalo Trail, the Pocahontas system as a whole. What else can you ask for? I mean, if you want to get away with your family, if you want to go stay somewhere super nice, if you want to visit a great town with rich history, you want to have great food, meet great people, and just have an all-around lifetime experience, Pocahontas is the place to come. Hatfield McCoy Trails is the place to visit, and Mercer County is just a great and welcoming place. So you need to do this. This is bucket listable.
If you like this video, click the link and subscribe to Dirt Trax' YouTube page where we're updating all kinds of fresh stuff like you've just seen.